Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I'm not Jeremy Silver. Very sadly, he's been detained at a board meeting, so instead, some of you, a lot of you, I think saw me earlier on, close the daytime part of the day. My name's Isabel Oswell. I'm Director of Business Audiences at the British Library, and I'm responsible for all of our business support services delivered here in the British Library, across the road. I hope many of you had a chance to go there and have a look around, as well as across. Oh, how did you do that? Amazing. As if by magic. We're here. Thank you. Can't say we don't have a brilliant AV team. So, just so I know, how many people were here earlier for Startup Day? Oh, that's amazing. Okay, I think that's about 80% of you, and welcome back to the evening. So you know then that this is the whole day has been incredible. It's been really inspiring. The energy, the buzz there has been here both in the auditorium today and outside in the foyer has been amazing. If we could bottle it all up and sell it, we'd all be multi-millionaires. So anyway, this is our flagship event, and I will be introducing our speakers very shortly. But forgive me for any repetition, but I wanted to say a huge welcome to you, a huge welcome also to our Business and IP Centre partners joining us or doing screenings today. Big shout out we've actually got Oxfordshire in the room, so big shout out, they came here, which is great. Hey, BIPC Oxfordshire. Also to our colleagues up in Liverpool City, BIPC, big shout out to you. Can we give them a round of applause? They do get really excited when they hear their names mentioned. And last but by no means least, BIPC Worcestershire. So Worcestershire, brilliant. And also everybody who's joining us online. So you will all know, because we repeated it again and again, that we are here to support everybody from all walks of life to start up, run, and successful businesses. And can't believe it, but we're about to celebrate our 20th anniversary this year, or next year, sorry, that's what I say. And this is a unique service based in libraries, which supports people, as I say, from all walks of life to start up, run, and scale their businesses by giving them access to vital market intelligence. So we have over £5 million worth of market research, company and financial information, consumer insights, and so on, as well as we're the Library of the UK Intellectual Property Office, so we know all about patents, trademarks, designs, and copyright. And since 2012, we've been scaling across the country, and we now have 21 centres. Oh, they're really on it today, the AV team, across the country, plus a further 65 satellite services in neighbouring towns. So together, we support over 40,000 people a year, of which 60% of people are would-be entrepreneurs. And that's so every single year, we get 60% of our entrepreneurs or people who are considering starting a business. And we know that well over half of you will go on to start a business within a year, probably in a much quicker time scale. So you're in the right place. And I think I mentioned earlier as well that if you start a business with us, you're twice as likely to be successful than the average entrepreneur. So over 90% of our businesses are still trading after 3 years, compared with only 50% across the board. So do give yourself that. Brilliant. We're here. And so tonight, on Startup Day and the first day of Global Entrepreneurship Week, I'm really pleased to introduce the embodiment of a successful entrepreneur, Joe Wicks. Well, I'm not introducing him yet, so but we're really pleased to have him today to speak to you all. And as I said, I'm sure you know, he's the founder of The Body Coach. He became a household name during the pandemic. And also, his brother, Nikki Wicks, is here, who is the person who makes everything tick behind the scenes. And I do apologise, I'm not wearing my trainers today. So they will be in conversation with our one and only Jacqueline Brown, who is the Business Programming Manager here at the British Library. And many of you will have seen her because she was comparing earlier on together with Rashid, who's still with us, I'm pleased to say. She has some experience of working in the fitness sector, and she has some very interesting questions to ask the dynamic duo. So they'll be having a fireside chat and then open up the floor to all of you in the room or in the audience and online. So I'm now going to ask Jacqueline to come up and introduce Joe and Nikki. And Jacqueline's looking particularly glam. She has completely transformed herself since earlier on. Come on up. Because you're up for a prize tonight, I hear. So very
Hopefully.
Best of luck.
Fingers crossed and all that. Thank you, Isabel. Give her a round of applause once more. Alrighty, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's get this party started. Oh, so excited. So excited. Okay, so I know Isabel mentioned some of the credentials of the dynamic duo, I was going to call them. And yeah, I can talk about a bit of that. But there was something that was mentioned when we spoke that I really liked. And I think it's also nice too. We know you're a body coach. We know everything else you're doing. We know about the PE. We know all the stuff during the pandemic and everything else. That's great, guys. But what I did like when we spoke previously, well, before today, was not only has this business been going for over 13 years now, but that their family were helping them to get promotion by flyering. This is really a bootstrap business. And how many of your family members that you rely on to get out there on the streets, handing out flyers about your business? They talked about, some of the facts they talked about that they were extras in Harry Potter. That's true, right? Or did you just make that one up? That was true, yeah? Because now I'm telling everybody, so stuff like that, which I think is really, really cool. But, they started this business and, it's just grown and grown and grown. But one thing I really do like is when they spoke, though, yes, Joe Wicks has an MBE, which is amazing. Give him a round of applause. Which is great. But he says, no, it's not his MBE. It's both his and Nikki. So give Nikki a round of applause, his MBE. And last thing I'd like to say is I thought it was super sweet that Joe called Nikki his guardian angel. It's just super, super cute. So there you go, got all that stuff out of the way. Now let's get to the business questions. So please welcome Joe and Nikki Wicks to the stage, guys.
Testing. Thanks for that lovely introduction.
Awesome.
It's so nice to be here with Nikki, because usually I'm on my own doing these things, and I often say this publicly, like, what you see on the outside, like the success of the body coach and my brand, half of it's me and half it's Nikki. Having Nikki's, just drive and strategic thinking and just mind, beautiful creative mind is why we're here together and why we built this wonderful brand together, I think. So I'm really glad.
I love it. Don't know if I could do that with my sisters or brothers, but
we have our arguments.
We'll go into that one. I was going to just ask one of you guys to do the cool thing and twist that off and pour a sauce of water.
Yeah,
so there you go. See, Nikki heard me in my mind. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. I know it's late on a Monday night.
I know, right? I know. Gosh, 5 degrees later this week. Did you hear?
Yeah. So thanks for sticking about. I hope we share some useful information for you all.
It's going to be good. All right, people, let's dive in. We're going to look at some various things, but I think let's just start off with the beginning. Everybody's probably heard some of the story of how you built this business, but, we know the Body Coach it's a wellness brand, it's global, it's all about personal branding as well. But for those who maybe are aspiring entrepreneurs, we're all aspiring entrepreneurs, I'm hoping here. For those who are here, how did you actually manage to get that idea off the ground? Because I know, Nikki, you're CEO, creative director. Joe, you're like the face of it and you do a lot of the fitness stuff as well.
Well, the answer to that
but how did you get it off the ground?
The answer to that question, I think, is like, it wasn't like I set out to build a business. I always think back to the early days. I really set out to build a community. I got such a buzz. I run a boot camp, in a park. one-to-one clients, boot camps, group fitness. And I just had this sense of like, I wanted to do a bit more, I wanted to share more, reach more people. So that was obviously coincide with Twitter and Instagram popping up. And I just started to share videos and share my love for food and fitness. And that built a community. Then it was only off of that engagement and that community that I built that then a business was formed. It wasn't like an intentional thing. I can't say we sat here and like I said, oh, let's go and build a global brand and reach millions. I just genuinely probably wanted to get a few more personal training clients, maybe have another couple of locations in Surrey, another boot camp here and there. That was as big as my mind could dream at the time, But over the years, just through consistency and sharing and giving out a lot of free content, the day I did have a product, whether it was a book or a fitness product, there was an audience there that were ready for it. But it wasn't this vision, I didn't have this strategic vision for it and this sort of mindset that I'm going to build a business.
Did you, Nikki, with your role, when you came into the business, did you have a vision at that stage when Joe was doing the boot camps? Were you involved at all at that stage?
No, so Joe and I, when people say, like, how long have you worked together, I always sort of joke, and we've worked together for 40 years now. Joe turned 40 last month, September, and I've sort of worked with him.
Welcome to the 4th floor.
The 40 Club.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've worked together our whole lives in some way, right? As a brother, and then, in terms of the business now, like I came back formally and officially and joined 10 years ago. But before that, sort of from the very sort of start of when Joe started out, we were living together. I was actually a journalist and a magazine editor. And, when Joe, I always, lots of people have heard Joe talk about his story when he started out with the boot camp and driving to Richmond and nobody turning up. And we were living together in Surbiton, and I remember him coming in. He'd get up at like 6 a.m. and cycle to Richmond to set up this boot camp. And then I was sort of getting up at a normal time of the morning, like 8 o'clock, to go to my job as it was in 2012, so I was working on the London Olympics. And he'd be coming in the door at like 8:15 as I was sort of leaving. And I remember like so many times where I'd say, oh, how many people came today, Joe? And he'd be like, oh, no one came today. And, this went on for months. And I remember thinking, like, oh, how much longer can he keep turning up at this to try and build this boot camp with, no one coming? But he never once sort of like ever sort of suggested that he was gonna give up on it. But to answer your question, I'd come back from work and he'd go, oh, I've got these new flyers, and, my mum and all of us were helping him go. I remember one January, he had an idea to do a special boot camp for people that wanted to go skiing and get ready for like their winter ski trip. And it was like, the rumble in the park, get ready for skiing like sessions in the park. And he printed out like 1,000 flyers. And I don't think anybody came to do that ski.
It was 5,000 flyers, and I remember got one email. Yeah, it didn't work. And we tried, and it's very niche, isn't it? Skiing. They do skiing every year. Like, who can afford that?
Well, yeah, that didn't take off. But I mean, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I went off to Singapore and was working and as a journalist, and then Joe sort of said to me, I think things started to build. I was helping him remotely, I suppose, with we'd speaking every day, and I was sort of, because of my media background, was able to sort of help him navigate, as things were starting to grow on social media. But when I moved back 10 years ago, I think you had 50,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
You hadn't had a YouTube channel really yet, and I mean, I've gone off at a bit of a tangent.
So from the boot camp and personal training came this audience, and then from that audience, I released an online fitness plan, which someone behind me just said, you did it, didn't you? OG, proper. It's called the Shift, Shape and Sustain Plan, the 90-day SSS.
Come on now.
That was a digital product, very generic, no, sorry, it wasn't generic. It was a PDF, but it was like tailored, sort of, the calories were sort of tailored, and but the video there was no video content, just images, and it was really, really basic. That product went on to make millions of pounds because 500,000, was it 500,000 people in the end?
600,000
600,000 people purchased that through nothing but Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We were there at the right time, we had the right idea, and it was like digital fitness was popping off. But again, I couldn't say I was trying to do that or knew that was going to happen. I just celebrated every single time one person signed up. I mean, Justin, remember, I used to say, one person signed up today, and I said, imagine if 10 people sign up in a day. And then one day it was 100 people, and then before you know it, there was days where 1,000 people a day around the world are buying this online fitness product. But it was coming to the end, and it was only Nikki's vision and strategic decision to say, we need to digitise this business. We can't, you can't milk this cow forever. We can't just rely, because everyone's bringing out fitness products, and there's apps, there's people doing really great stuff. We have to innovate. And so Nikki said, let's do it. And I was always a bit more cautious because I'm much more reserved. I'm a bit more nervous about those things. And Nikki was like, we've got to do it. If you're not growing, you're dying. We've got to do it. And obviously that business now, again, is 5 years old, and that's a really sustainable, healthy business. But I don't think it would have happened if it wasn't for Nikki. I don't think it would exist.
Oh, I can hear that.
No, really.
No, like, but it's true. It's true. I mean, you know, it's like a, you know, like it's kind of like a marriage. You need to have, you know, the yin and the yang. You need to have both sides of the brain functioning and to see things from different perspectives. And it seems like you've kind of got that between you guys. But we'll get more into the brotherly relationship in business and all of that. I do want to know, because people are here who are trying to get the businesses off the ground, they're using who uses a business and IP centre? Who has used it, if you raise your hands, across the country or the city? Okay, so there's a reasonable amount of people. There could be more of you, and hopefully more will come on board after this. But was there any support or advice that you got, maybe through your work, Nikki, or where would you get in your business advice and support from?
So I did have a mentor at the time. I had like a business mentor who was like, she was doing coaching and stuff, and she sort of, you know, helped me sort of believe that maybe one day I will have a cookbook, or one day I will have a business. And I'll be because at the very first, it used to be called Team Lean 2013. On Twitter, I didn't like outwardly show my face, and I didn't like try and become like this figurehead of this business. It was like Team Lean. It was a team. I'm like the captain, and you're doing it all, sort of thing. And then obviously, like, yeah, so that got me thinking differently. And I suppose that was helpful. I've done a few courses. I remember going to a course on social media and sort of presenting. I did a presenting because I sort of had this sense that one day I might have to do a talk or be on TV, and I was nervous and I didn't like the idea of it. So I went and did a little one-day sort of presentations course. And so I definitely invested in myself over the time. But again, it was just like I had the right people at the right time, people that, you know, knew more than me, because I don't know anything about finance, hiring, HR, culture, all these things. Like, all I'm really good at is communication and inspiring and motivating and sharing content. Nikki has gone somehow along this journey from being like my social media community manager, you know, posting a few tweets and a few Facebook ads, to being the CEO of a business. And I think we've learned together, but obviously got right people around to help. But I don't know, I feel like you've learned so much more than me. I think from a business perspective, like, I haven't really learned much. I just, no, I feel like...
You're just doing, you just...
I haven't. I can't say, and I say to Nikki...
Finally admitted it.
And also, like, literally, swear down, yeah, I was, like, on the business, like, company's house as the CEO, and I was thinking, I ain't the CEO. He's like, yeah, you are. He's like, I think we should sign that over to me. I was like, yeah, have it. I don't care. Like, I don't know what it means.
Thank you.
But, you know, I see Nikki in the office doing the back-to-back Zoom calls now, and I look and think, I wouldn't last 24 hours in those shoes. But I also don't think you would do the whole, you know, share your life on social media and be this personality. Like, that we've just got both the different skill sets that came together to build a brand. I think it's really important to know that. I don't think I would have been anywhere near as successful if I didn't have Nikki with this vision and this sort of strategic, calm, considered approach to decisions, whereas I'm much more like on, you know, impulse sort of thing.
But can I just say, you know, because he said, thank you for saying all of that, but also, like, I couldn't think of a worse job than what he does.
Wow.
And I was going to say at the start of this, so we've only ever talked together on stage twice. This is the second time. And if I look like awkward and uncomfortable, it's because I am awkward. I'm feeling I'm feeling a bit more relaxed now. But you know what you do in terms of like being on camera and being that forward. You know,
gin in there.
I wish there was gin in there. I could never do that. But you know, also when I came back originally to work with Joe, my role was as a sort of, I said, you know, he said, oh, look, I'm getting some traction, like, come and help me. And I was really having a lovely time in Singapore. I had no intention of moving back to England. And it took about 3 months. For 3 months, I was saying, no, Joe, not a good idea. You know, brothers working together, very rarely, you know, that could end badly. I really didn't want to, you know, risk our relationship. And in the end, I was like, okay, look, I'll come back and I'll help you out. But I was very mindful that I only wanted to, like, do what I believed I could help him with a very specific, you know, initially around content, because I was a journalist. I was, you know, print magazines, but at this time we'd started to move into, like, video and podcasts. So I came back with, like, right, I can help you with a very specific thing. And to answer your question, like, I've learned how to be a CEO just by doing it, like, and I do have lots of mentors and advisors, and I've always really, looking back, like, always asked for help, and even today, like, you know, I picked up, I was like, what do I do here, like, and I think asking for help is like I think it's a superpower. I think it really is.
It truly is. It's like you you have to take you have to kind of trust in yourself and what you do know. So like, you know your strengths. You're like, that other stuff, that's just not me. What's the point of trying to overkill it? Find the right people who do. You don't have to know everything, but it's good to know people who do know what you don't know. And it seems like you've got a good balance there. But even then, you're still seeing you've got some strengths and you've got some weaknesses in this. And I mean, the team it's not just the two of you. There's a team now. So within that, there's going to be hiring, and that's not an easy thing, knowing how to hire people, who to hire, who to fire. So when it came to building your team and structuring operations, were you in charge of that, Nikki? Or Joe, were you? Who was in charge of that?
Oh, no, fully. I mean, it's all Nikki. The whole app, I think from the apps, we obviously talked about the app, but the inception and the design and the whole project manager, I mean, you were project managing the whole thing, like, and then obviously you stepped into like that more CEO role, because when you're hiring 30 people, you've got a team and engineers. But again, I don't know how you do it. I mean, I don't know how you do it and how you've learned, but you're just, you absorb. And Nicky's a great leader because he's a sensitive, emotional empath. So I think he's really built a wonderful culture and team. But in terms of the actual decisions, I don't know, how do you make big choices? Because you do.
So there's,
that can make or break your business, really. You know, the people.
Yeah, 100%. That's been the hardest bit for me. Like, and I suppose just for people to, if you don't know the whole, journey of the business, there's kind of two chapters really. Chapter one was social media, accidentally kind of, right time, created a really great video concept, Lean in 15, that really took off. And then the PDF business was sort of like chapter one. I think chapter two, and that business was really small. Was like 10 people, customer support people. There was no engineering. It was very simple business. And then chapter two, I suppose, was once we decided to build an app and innovate and build a product. And, that question, we hired an agency to build the app. And they were really good. They built an amazing product. In between us starting that journey, the pandemic happened and PE with Joe took us on a bit of a tangent. But then after a while, we realised we couldn't afford to keep the agency keep running the app. So we're like, actually, we better build a team. And we didn't know anything about technology or engineering, but started interviewing people. And I remember interviewing this head of engineering, the first person I was going to hire to come and help, maintain and build the app. And he said on the interview, he said, who's the CEO? And I was like, and I went, I am. I'm the CEO. And
I became the CEO that day.
I got off the interview and I rang Joe and I was like, Joe, I think I might need to start telling people I'm the CEO because, we're interviewing really smart people that are, we're saying, come and join our business. And they knew the brand, they loved the brand, but they wanted to understand who they're reporting into. And so it was, I was a massively accidental CEO. It never wasn't my intention to, and then you hire one person and you sort of learn as you go. But
I've been trying to fire him ever since, but I can't seem to fire him. I'm trying to get someone else in, but he can fire me apparently now.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, that's true.
Me step down.
True. Watch out.
You're gone.
Oh, my gosh. Wow, that's amazing. So where would you find these people, though? Where would you look for them if you're not... Because you're learning everything as you're going along, and that's not your industry, I guess. So when you was hiring, where did you find people?
So the first time when we hired someone, I said to the agency, we can't carry on paying you to run our app. We need to build a team. How do I hire a head of engineering? And they said, well, we can help you. They were very supportive in that transition. But that first hire, they helped me with the advertising on their own website. And then after that, the second person I hired was a head of people. And I said, your job is to hire 30 other people for the business.
Smart.
So between January and sort of May, we went from 10 to 40 people.
Between January and May, 10 to 40.
We hired 30 people in about 5 months, yeah. And that person, the brief was, you need to build us an engineering team that can continue, take this app, bring it in-house and run it. We then went through a lot of, went a bit of a roller coaster really, because the first team we built wasn't quite right. I think we went too quickly. We ended up sort of resizing a bit, and now we're 35 people now across the business. But yeah, hiring's really hard, and I think we're very emotional leaders as well, and so the emotional side of it is hard because I don't see it as it's a family business and we treat people like family, so but you can't, you know, I've had to learn that you have to sometimes you have to remove emotion from business decisions as well, which I've personally found
it can
really
be tough
hard.
if it's not your nature. But I mean, talking about the family business, and you know, when we spoke earlier, you know, quite open, you seem quite transparent about talking about your backgrounds and challenges, etc. So, you know, as business owners now, how do you feel that people should maintain, like, how do you feel you can build a business with your family? What kind of things should you be aware of or be careful about? Because end of the day, you're working together, and then when it's like Christmas time, maybe doing the family, how to kind of avoid talking about business all the time, making issues that you might have in business get
it's a good
between
question,
you.
because it feels quite crime, because we've always been, Nikki's boys in the crowd as well, my mum and Nikki's partner Louisa, and our good friend Justin, but we've always been really close as friends and mates, and we've done everything together. We travelled together, we went, you know, backpacking, we cycled across Spain, all these things. So those moments are less and less, because now our relationship is based on a business. We have got targets, we are trying to grow. And, you know, we ain't even got investors. This is just us trying to build our business and you know, and sustain and grow. And business is never easy. You can't take your foot off the pedal, you know. With social media, with marketing, with your energy, with your passion for it, you just have to keep going. So we are definitely having less time together, but we do block out, you know, we'll say we're going to go Glastonbury this year, or we're going to have a little ski trip. We have to find those moments, because otherwise every conversation you ever have becomes about work, and everything becomes about targets and numbers. And so, yeah, that's something I miss, but I understand that we have to both put as much effort into this as we can. And, you know, Nikki is doing his thing, I'm doing my thing, and we just have to, like, stay focused. But ultimately, like, I think you just have to see eye to eye. You have to have the same vision. You have to be so passionate, because if I lost my love for it, I'd be out of the game so quick. And I think the same with Nikki. He'd be like, I can't do it, bro. I'm out of it, you know. So we do have to stay aligned, and we have to stay energized. And so I'll take a little break. I went away for a few weeks. He went up to America with the kids. So if you don't take those breaks, and your life is just about work, and you're in this sort of little microcosm of business and targets and growth, you can lose the joy out of it quite quickly. It's really important to plan breaks and have those moments of conversation that isn't about the work, and it's about memories, or it's about something in the future together, you know.
Do you have those? Do you have those hard conversations? That, I mean, yeah, the business has been going for a little while now. You know, we've navigated the pandemic, which I'll come to in a moment. But just conversations of, you know, what if? Because sometimes we don't want to think about that. But what if you decided, you know, I don't want to do it anymore, or you and the family wanted to just start your own business in something, or just leave the country or go backpacking and never come back. I don't know. But how have you had those conversations? Like, what if you decided, I don't want to do this anymore, or you decided that, or you don't want to be CEO?
We're not there yet, no, but I always say to Nick, I wonder what you'll do in the future. Say we do have an exit and we sort of step away, what will you do in the future? Because I think Nick could be a CEO of any business in the world. Yeah. He could be CEO of Disney. I honestly think he could. Okay. But, yeah, you know, we're both so attached and so driven by the goal of what we're achieving. And so we haven't had this big, like, moment of, like, an investment fund or an exit, but we don't think about that obsessively every day, because if you do, I think you lose sight of what you're doing. Like, and I know Nikki for sure, still reads DMs, he still reads, you know, emails and comments coming in. We have to know what's going on and what people need, and they do need help with their mental health. They do need help with their exercise and food, and they're on a budget, and people are skint and depressed, and everyone's more anxious than ever. So we don't really focus on the numbers, although you have to, you know, for business. We really stay in tune with that. We do schools tours, we visit care homes, you know, we do things that mean we stay connected to the human element of what we do. And that's the most important part. If you lose that, I think you would get fed up with it, and you're like, I'm done, I want to do something different. But I think we've got more energy, there's more to grow, there's more time to stick with what we're doing, you know?
And I think that's one of the beautiful things, because they do, when I say they, you know, there's this imaginary they say about focusing on the people, the ones that you're trying to serve, rather than there's people who just go for the money, and, you know, they can just lose it halfway through. But when you're focused on the people, that's when things can grow, because you'll want to serve them, you want to find out what their problems are, and you create solutions for them. And I think that seems like what you guys are doing. Your focus is really on that.
Yeah, we talk about purpose over profit and that, but actually it's impact in it. It's impact over profit. It's impact over numbers. Because if you just focus on revenue, subscribers, new sign-ups, podcast listeners, book sales, like, that's not impact. Whereas impact is like the schools tours, it's the Joe Wicks Festival at Q. Like, these are the moments, in it, where you really remind yourself of, actually, like, I'm changing lives. We're saving lives now. Yeah. And that's important, isn't it?
Yeah, we actually have like two sort of things that we look at. You know, as a business, we sort of celebrate. We have our monthly wrap-ups as a team, and we have like, you know, the business performance, which, you know, the business has to do a certain to be able to pay everyone and to keep us going. But actually, our impact metrics are actually often a lot higher. So, what I mean by that is, if you take YouTube, for example, which is our free platform, you know, the amount of people that have come in and looked at our business and said, "Oh, you know, why do you post new workouts on YouTube every week, and then you try and get people to pay for your fitness app, which is behind a paywall?" You know, we're cannibalising ourselves. But you know, YouTube is a free platform, so our mission statement is fitness for everyone. And what that means is, if you can't afford our app, you should still have access to really good, high-quality fitness. And so more people engage with the Body Coach brand for free than they do than pay. And I think that's the right mix, because actually that focus on impact and purpose has the byproduct of that is it's grown our business. And so there was never a goal to, you know, like Joe said, 600,000 people signed up to the PDF business, and all he was doing was sharing, you know, recipes and workouts on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so that
transformations help. Back then you could post transformations, they were quite powerful. So yeah, you're right though. It's definitely like it's the impact first, and then the business is almost follows, isn't it? I think if you're just thinking about growing to sell, give me your attention, buy my product, buy my service, like straight away, it's not going to work. Lots of people follow. You know, we've had messages where they say, "I've followed you since lockdown. I love your videos. I've never committed, and now I've just signed up to your app. You know, the Black Friday sale, whatever." Like, so the journey can take 5 years for some people, and people forget.
But they'll be committed though, won't they? Because they feel they know you.
And so it's not always instant, especially with health and fitness, because they're really they need to build that trust and know what you're about. Do you really mean it? You experienced? Do you actually like? Is your stuff working? And get a bit of proof and a bit of like reinforcement, and then that's when they become a customer. So you're turning a fan into a customer, and that ain't easy. It's getting harder and harder. Than it ever was.
It's very loud out there. We're going to come to social media as well. We're going to talk about finance. We're going to talk about quite a few things. I know because you've just kind of talked a little bit about this. You've been kind of given that moniker of the nation's PE teacher, and I think we kind of all have this association with PE back in the day. You know, I loved netball. That's where I started doing that through PE. We get, you know, learning new fitness or new sports, and for some people it's great. For some people, maybe they had body challenges and maybe PE is not a great thing, but you became, you know, the nation's PE teacher. But that was, you know, you earned this during the pandemic, one of the toughest times where everybody's kind of inside. You know, what are the kind of lessons that were learned during that time?
Yeah, I mean, look, PE with Joe has always been my proudest achievement, and I don't know if I'll ever top it on an impact level. What's going to be more impactful than that? I always say, like, we can sell the business and have this amazing moment, but the impact of getting tens of millions of people moving through a pandemic like that was like my moment, wasn't it? And I think it will be like my legacy forever. And I'm still so proud of it.
It's a nice legacy.
Yeah, and I never get bored of speaking to people. I always stop to speak to anyone, and it's never like, "Thanks for your book, I love your app." It's always, "Thank you for lockdown, you got us through a difficult time." So I never get bored of hearing that. And it was like, you know, again, an unexpected thing. Like, you think, I just by chance, a couple of weeks before, had a guy come around to install some lights. So I had like nice lighting, I had a tripod and a camera, and YouTube built this lovely bit of tech where you could live stream. If I was 5 years earlier, that wouldn't have happened. So you're talking about timing, luck, effort and energy, and at the moment that technology was there, and I just had this moment to like deliver these workouts. So, you know, I didn't know it was going to go on for so long. I didn't know that many people were going to tune in. But again, it's that thing of impact. I knew there was families and kids at home who were going to be struggling with their mental health, and I thought, if I can just do one thing for them for half an hour, that's going to be good use of my time. And as I said, you know, Nikki was in my ear every single day doing the shout-outs.
Yeah.
So I do need to get an angle grinder and cut the medal down the middle, because it's in my drawer. We have our feature, you can put in a frame. It'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Well, laser cut it maybe. But yeah, you know, it's an amazing thing to do, and I'm so glad I'm so glad I had the idea, and it was just a last-minute thing. I said, "Nikki, I've got an idea." I texted her on a Thursday night. I said, "I've got an idea. Let's do a live workout." We'd done lives before, but you'd have like, you know, 500 schools took part, whatever.
Okay.
And so I knew it worked, but I could never have predicted that every single school in the UK on that Monday morning was going to tell their kids, "Joe's your teacher." You know, "Joe's your PE teacher," and it, you know, 1 million live streams. It was like massive,
That's
like
crazy.
But unintentional, unexpected.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. When it's, yeah, exactly. There you go. Exactly. It's all about the impact, which is, you're standing in that, you're doing that. But starting off, let's people are here building business, and business takes money, and bootstrapping was, the way that your initial funding. I mean, that's where your initial funding came from, or you said you haven't had investment. How have you been able to do this, and how would you encourage others to? I know it's a different time now, slightly, but any advice for those who are starting?
We can talk on obviously the investment that we had to go for the app, but before that it was all just a very cash-rich business, wasn't it? Like there was money coming in, you do a sale, we could control the revenue quite easily because you do a sale on a Sunday night and we'll post an amazing transformation. This is like 8-9 years ago, and then 1,000 people would see it and 1,000 people would sign up. Where it's definitely got harder to reach people. But do you want to talk about the decision from like investing in the app and the agency, because it was a way bigger number than we had planned on, but we had no choice, innit? It was like innovate or die, isn't it?
Yeah, but I suppose for anyone that's at the very, very start, I mean, you borrowed like a £2,000 off mum or dad or both?
Yeah, I borrowed £2,000
Bank of
off
Mum and
mum.
Dad.
That's an investment.
And I borrowed,
Someone invested.
£1,500 off my dad to buy the equipment, for the boot camp. So yeah, that was my first ever initial I borrowed that, yeah.
Yeah, but no, that is, I think, for people starting out, it's like very scrappy, and you're very lucky that we were able to, you're able to do that. I think as well, the other thing I think is important as well is like, it's really easy to sort of, we talked about all of the success and all the great stuff, but like this is like a 13-year journey, and I think that idea, like patience, we talked about, as I said, the highlights, but it's hard bloody work, and like patience and time. I think between 2012 and when we launched the app in 2022, well, that's 10 years. Yeah, so it was a real journey. But what was the question again?
It was in regards to bootstrapping and the way that you've been able to any advice you had for those who are here, because many are, it is startup day, so many are startups, or many are trying to grow their businesses, but how you've done it, because you didn't get, apart from Mum and Dad, Bank of Mum and Dad, didn't get investment.
I suppose my advice would be the focus should be on building a community. Like I think
what we heard from Martha earlier. There you go.
It's hard, but also it's really obvious sometimes to accept that some of the best businesses in the world are personality-driven, like brands, like people putting themselves out there and building community. And like I've seen some amazing success stories where you think that person has just come out of nowhere, but there's always a long 5-10 year journey of them like building up to that YouTube channel, building up to that massive Instagram or TikTok platform. And so it's like, I just think if you're going to put energy into something, like really focus on building a community, and then in the background while you're got an idea or building a product or you're in a service, that you at least got the audience ready to go, And that comes from giving out a lot of free content. Like, Gary Vee used to say, jab, jab, cross, right? You give out the jab. We used to jab for like 1,000 recipes, hundreds of videos before I even thought about monetizing that audience. But now, obviously, like stories like myself and other people, you think, well, the path to success is just get an audience, get the attention and sell it as quick as you can. But we've seen so many people do that where they lose their engagement, the audience switch off, and it can be lost really quickly. You've got to protect that, and by giving out free content and that doesn't cost money. Like a lot of the stuff I film, it really is me on my iPhone at home. I've never had a cameraman with me. I've never had an editing suite. It's just me on my phone, like in real time. So I could do 2 or 3 recipes a day, all day long. It didn't cost me anything. You can produce content for cheap, but yeah, there's obviously going to come a time when you might need to get some investment. But I don't know. It's just a step-by-step thing, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I think the lesson that it's like it is very scrappy, and like scrappy's good. And I think I do think my biggest, asking people for help, like whatever that looks like, whether it's advice or whether if it's filming, can you, and it's you can't do everything by yourself. And there's often, I was always very like, some of my best relationships and mentors have come through like cold emailing or sending people messages on LinkedIn. For every like 10 messages you send, you might only get 1 reply, but that one person that does take the time can sometimes be the key to giving you a really good piece of information or a piece of help that gets you moving on to the next step. But I think it is scrappy when you start, whatever industry or field you're in, and it's good to be. I miss the scrappy days.
You do?
Yeah, I do. It's when you get to like where we are now, there's a lot of processes, and it's like, it's so boring.
Wow.
No, like that side of it is really boring to me. Like I used to, when I moved back from Singapore, and started, he's like, right, I want to film a YouTube workout on my balcony. And I'd say, right, I'm coming round, and I'd be holding the camera. And if you look at the first 100 YouTube videos, I think there's about 1,000 on there now. It's me holding a really shit camera. Sorry, swearing, and my kids are over there. And it's really wobbly. But do you know what? Those videos...
It's the realness, though, isn't it?
They've got the most views than any other videos, and they still get the most views now every month.
Yeah, I think the way things are right now, especially with AI and so forth, everything's just so beautiful. You know, we did the filter earlier, you know. People want to see also the rawness. So I think that's probably what is pretty cool about it. But we're talking about investments, though. I know you said, you know, apart from mum and dad, whatever, that was kind of the main investment in the initial days. But, you know, Joe, you are on Dragon's Den now, and you are dealing with investing in other people's businesses. And so here we do have the doorbell of dreams with Help Bank, and you know, people are pitching ideas. So if somebody was looking for investment, what could they do to truly stand out?
Yeah, well, I'm not a dragon. I was a guest for 2 episodes.
Yes,
And,
you were a dragon.
Again, I don't seek these things out. I would never go, I want to be a dragon, get me in there. They reached out and I was like, oh, that'd be fun. And I did it. And yeah,
Guest dragon.
it was very nerve-wracking, but it was fun to be a part of it. And, you know, if you saw the episode that I did, you know, where I invested in the guy from Liverpool, Joseph, who had a really amazing, you know, story. It was his emotion. It was the connect. I really wanted to give this guy a chance to launch his business and fulfill his dream of selling this product. But, you know, for me, it was about people. Like, I couldn't sit there and give the best strategic advice and give all the Peter Jones and Tuka Sullivan spiel, but I knew I could listen to someone and give them a bit of empathy and also, you know, understand that emotional side of being alone and building a business. But yeah, I think, you know, I've never really had those meetings. I've never gone into a room and said, I need you to invest in me. Like, you know, so I can't really say what it feels like to have to ask someone for money. But, you know, I think if you're yourself and you're passionate, you know, they say all the time, we don't invest in business, you invest in people, right? And you might have 3 businesses that fail and then the 4th one comes good. But I think it's just be truly honest, you know, really open, be really, really passionate. And if you feel emotional in that moment, like, let it out, because that will show that person just how much this means to you. Like, you know, like I said, I think being emotional is a real superpower in this world, because if you're just this cold business person with this numbers and sometimes you don't connect with that person as much. So I really felt like this guy was just a lovely guy, needed a chance, you know, and so we gave him the investment and, you know, he's doing well with it.
Again, it's all about the people, it's all about the heart, and I think, you know, you guys are really about the heart, and that's very beautiful. Just to remind you guys, you know, feedback form, there will be some gifts that Joe's given away. We've got 4 copies of his book, so we'll talk about that in a little bit, but do make sure to do the feedback forms before we end today. Got a few more questions to ask, and we are here at the British Library, and British Library does books, though you can't take out books, but it is a place for books and journals and so forth. It's the British Library. But then we also are here for the Business and IP Centre, where intellectual property is the heart of what we do. So the question, just a quick one about books, because you are, you know, your success is also diversifying into books, and I suppose, are you involved in the books as well?
No, not
at all.
Not directly. No, I help to sort of, you know, promote them, and there's a photo of me in one of them, but that's about it. But Joe's had, you know, what, 11 books now?
I've done 12 cookbooks, and I've got a new one coming out next month, so I have 13 cookbooks, It's been a mad journey, but again, you got to think, right, imagine this, I'm in a flat in Surbiton, it's 2012, I'm running the boot camp, and I've got an iPhone 7, and I make this recipe one day, and I go, and that right there is lean in 15. And I didn't think anything of it. I just thought it was funny, and I shared it. And then every day for a year and a half, I posted a new recipe. And then one day I got an email from a publisher saying, "Oh, we think you're really great. Like, your energy's amazing. Do you want to come and have a meeting about a book?" And remember, I called your mum, and she was like, "That can't be real. They're not offering you a book deal." And then I rang her and I said, "Mum," because they offered me a book deal as I walked out on the spot. And I said, "Mum, they've offered me a book deal." And she said, "Oh my God, it's amazing." And I rang my friend who was a mentor, and she said, "Joe, slow down, hold your horses. You've got to get an agent. You've got to get a proper, you know, book agent." And, you know, that idea, that one silly idea on Instagram, I've now sold 5 million cookbooks. I'm like the most...
Come on now, 5 million.
Yeah, and
Thanks, Mum, as well.
Yeah.
Joe and Nikki's mum.
He's not even a good cook. He sold 5 million cookbooks.
Is that true, Mum?
But that's the thing, like, again, it's just like, I had an idea.
He is good, really.
He is.
I had an idea, and I just went with it, and I built. And again, I didn't think if I keep sharing these recipes I will get a book deal. If I keep sharing workouts, I'll get a DVD and I'll do a fitness channel. Like, it was really just a genuine love for like just sharing stuff. Do you know what I mean? And so
That seems to be the message.
yeah, and
That
I
seems
think
to be the
if
message.
you do that long enough, things that get drawn into your atmosphere. Do you know what I mean? They get magnetised toward you because people love motivated, upbeat, passionate, inspiring people. Like, they watch that and they get inspired by it, and so they want to be around that person. You know, and
It's the
that's
energy,
really,
isn't it?
Social media has that power to do it. You can really create an amazing community really, really quickly if you're doing the right things on there.
So awesome. So yeah, you could be able to get a copy of one of these books. So try out some of the recipes and get lean in 15. But intellectual property, as I mentioned, is the heart of what we do. We've had a mini workshop or training or insights that Jeremy O'Hare had given earlier on what we do offer here within patenting or patenting and trademarking as well. And then we had somebody here who has had a challenge with trademarks with her business name, and she had to fight for that. A true David and Goliath story there. So, within what you do, what kind of steps have you taken with safeguarding, protecting the body coach, where the products, the content around the app or whatever, what kind of steps have you taken?
I think you probably know more about that, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
Have you taken
I don't know
steps?
what's trademark, to be honest.
We have taken steps.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm talking.
Otherwise, you have to come to our centre.
Yeah, no, I think when I was thinking, this is something that wasn't front of mind in the early days because we weren't thinking, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. So it definitely become more important as the brand grew. And I think, now essentially, fast forward, we've got trademarks on things like the Body Coach and Lean in 15 and Joe Wicks and stuff like that. But I suppose what was quite interesting was when you had the bodycoach.co.uk, the domain that you got, that was available for like a tenner or whatever.
Yeah, 10.
But then about 5 or 6 years in, we wanted the .com, and someone actually had it in Australia. And it was dormant. It'd been dormant for 10 years. It wasn't active, and that was this is kind of a reverse IP story because you ended up having to sort of make a bid to buy.
Yeah, and he had me by the short and curlies, didn't he? Because I was the body coach, and I was like, I need the bodycoach.com, and then I think he tried to squeeze me, but luckily,
I can't remember what you paid for it.
My mentor sort of managed the deal a little bit. But anyone have a guess how much I paid for the domain? What do you reckon? I mean, this is I paid $10 for .co.uk. What do you reckon, Joe? The bodycoach.com cost me. Anyone got a guess? What do you reckon, Oscar? £15,000? 10,000? Keep going a bit more. 25 grand it was, yeah. And that was a lot of money at the time. I was like, I'm giving this guy in Australia, who was a PT 10 years ago, 25 grand, but we just sort of knew in our heart we had to have the body coach.
There's people who do that though, isn't it? They just go around buying domains and.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a business. It's a good business, obviously.
So we have all the trademarks registered, and then every month I get an email from. I think it's I don't know if it's lawyers that manage it or something, but it's called Trademark Watch, and it will just list every new business or trademark that's got a word related to it. So it might be I don't know, the body house, or anything related but nothing's ever come up that was, and also you're looking for people that are using a similar name or trademark in a similar field or sector. Because if someone
categories, isn't it?
Something's called I don't know, the Body Coacher, and it's a car dent company repairing body shop for cars. You're a bit well, they're probably not. We don't need to go after them. Do you know what I mean? And we've actually never had to do anything, and there's never been a problem.
There's no nightmare stories to tell us.
No, apart from having to buy the .com.
We had a Zara story here earlier, and that was.
No, it is really important, and I think we're just very. I suppose now again, we're probably more. We took legal advice about all the things we should do, and it's now we're covered, I suppose. But I imagine also we don't have a physical product, right? So there's no patent or anything like that. We do own the IP on all of our on our tech because it's proprietary, technology. The code, you essentially own the code, right? But I suppose it's different when you have a product that you're a patent and stuff like that as well. We can't.
Yeah. If anybody here is, if you were here, especially here early and thinking about doing trademarking, etc., do make sure to come over to the centre. We'll be able to give you some support. Our toolkit as well that you can download in your lanyard. There is some QR codes. You can zap those and then get through to the digital toolkits and some other information on those lanyards. But do make sure to come over and use our facilities, our services, our resources, because that's what we're here to help you to do, that, to avoid any pitfalls. And if you can get legal support, great, but we're also here to give you that support to kind of save you a bit of money.
What a stat as well, that 90% of businesses that have come through the startup scheme are running off, still in business, which is really amazing, isn't it? Because
within 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's really unheard of. So it's an amazing, and it's all completely free as well.
Majority free.
It's amazing.
Majority free. It's a really great services that we have here. So do come. Mintel, especially, who were earlier, can give you some of that information that you need to kind of get the business up and going as well. So there's so much that you can get here. So please do come over to the main building on the first floor for the Business and IP Centre. So going into social media, which has been one of the tools that you have used as well. And we had a great session earlier on social media. And you said a lot of the things already that has been. It's really nice because it's kind of replicating what was said earlier. So I'm loving that. So how do you feel that other entrepreneurs here who may be starting up, can capitalize on social media, especially in an environment where people have very short attention spans and shorts are getting shorter and shorter?
Oh, I know, that's like milliseconds. Well,
exactly.
Just so you know, the team of 35 in the Body Coach office, they're all engineers, it's marketing, it's like, HR, and it's Nikki and support coaches. There's just me in the marketing. It's me and an iPhone, and I do have one person that can come and film videos if we're like renting a house today, but most recipes are me. Most workouts I'm filmed at home on a camera, like just one camera, one tripod. I just send it up to the cloud and they edit it and put it online and stuff. But it's really me, and if it's my secret sauce. It's my job. Like if I step away from that and I had someone else doing that, replying to my DMs, doing all the comments, like it would lose. Well, it would lose the secret sauce, but also it would detach me from the human interaction, and like I said, like I do read DMs, I do reply, I spend hours. It's my main.
You do read your DMs?
Yeah, I reply to a lot of them through voice notes because it's easy for me to reply with a voice note. And I think.
Has anyone ever sent him a DM? Not to say you should right now, but.
Did I ever mess you back? I messed you twice. Yeah. Was it a voice note? Yeah, it's me. Like, it really is me. Because I think people think there's no way, because they say, oh, you're not going to see this, but can you let Joe know, or Joe's team know that I really love whatever. And I always reply. I don't reply to everything because it's too many. But
people say we sound alike though, so I could be me.
Yeah.
There you go. You never know. But what's your favourite platform?
It's not, but you just.
Oh, but the question was, look, the fact is, you can't offload that to people, especially if you're trying to build a personal brand. I think it's got to be you. But yeah, my favourite, for me personally, Instagram is my favourite platform. But I also love my YouTube channel, the impact that has. It's a couple of million views a month. Like, it's a really lovely thing. But Nikki still, you still run the Twitter account. There's a TikTok.
So you are involved, even though you don't.
Well, as in you post a little bit on Twitter, didn't you?
Yeah. So the only people that have access, so we got 11.6 million followers across all our platforms.
Nice.
We are the only people that post on them, but Joe's doing Instagram and stories, and and we have someone that helps upload like the YouTube workouts now, but it is still very authentically Joe.
Facebook's still big for our business.
Facebook's still great.
Facebook's still huge for our business, isn't it, from a marketing perspective?
And also, email. Like email is not social media, but we've got nearly 1 million email subscribers in our database now.
That's amazing. They're
super engaged. Like we send out a weekly newsletter every Monday. It gets and the thing about email is it's much more predictable than social media because the algorithm can change pretty much.
And you own that as well.
And you own it. Yeah. But I love YouTube is my favourite platform in the sense of, our average watch time is about 9 minutes.
Wow.
Now, the average watch time on Facebook and Instagram is about, between 3 and 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So you've got, if you think about that in terms of the real attention that you've got for people, 9 minutes is like a lifetime compared to 6 seconds.
If you think about it, it makes sense because YouTube is a platform where people are seeking information. Just like the BIPCs where you seek information. Did you like that, guys? But YouTube is a platform where you're seeking information. So, you're offering that with those workshops.
You're there for a workout and you sort of do it. But the truth is, with social media, it's changing so fast and it's so unpredictable. I'll give an example. My story views used to be 300,000 views a day, right? Based off of 4.7 million. So 300,000 views. And suddenly overnight it went to 100,000. And now it's like 70,000, and it ain't ever going to come back. There's days where it might spike up, but I think people are consuming Instagram differently. They're looking at suggested reels, they're addicted to doom scrolling, so they're just not consuming stories like they were. That's not the prime real estate anymore. It's still an important part of it, but I think you have to see like reels as a separate thing, you know, grid posts, carousels, and the stories, separate things, their own little beasts, and you've got to feed them. Like, it's like a monster. You've got to feed it, and it used to be like one a day was enough, but now it's like the people that are winning on social media are the ones that are doing 3 reels a day, 4 reels a day, because one of them catches fire and suddenly, boom, they're getting 1 million views. Like, it's really become harder, but you've still got to you've got to be on there, right? You've got to be in the party. If you're not in the party, you ain't got a chance. So it's definitely harder than it ever was. But if you're just consistent and you're really, really authentic, you'll you know, good content is always found, isn't it? I always think. And
just to add to that as well, like, you know, one thing I think we talk about the platforms a lot, but like the content conversation is also like, what are you posting? And like, the thing that Joe has always refused to do is like trends. So if there's a trend that's like, you know, everyone's doing because it's getting loads of views, like Joe's always just said, I'm just going to post, you know, if we look at our platforms, YouTube is all fitness. There's no food on YouTube. It's all fitness. Instagram, we don't really do any, it's mostly food because it's a better platform for food because it's people are just more scrolling, they might see a recipe, but you're not going to scroll through Instagram and see a workout and just go stop and do the workout.
No,
like if you're on a train, like people with YouTube, they go, right,
I do save a lot of workouts on Instagram, though. I do, actually.
Yeah, people do.
I save them for the gym later.
Do you go back to them? Or do you
I do. I have a whole... I go to the gym and I
save recipes all the time, and I've never gone and cooked one of them.
I can't find them. I don't know where they are. I save them and I don't know how to find them.
Yeah, I've got like 100 recipes.
Easy to find.
Where are they? I don't know.
They're in this. Well, they are somewhere.
It's easier on YouTube, though. I do have my playlist on... Yeah, so it's easier.
But yeah, no, I just want to... My point is, like, think about, you know, what is it you want to say to people? So, like, what is the story? What is the content? And then just don't rely on one platform.
Yes.
I think if you rely on any single you know, Instagram is definitely our kind of like home platform, if you like. It's where it all started, and it's still at the centre, isn't it? But you know, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, build an email list. Facebook is still massive for us.
Really?
Yeah, because you know, for our app users, that you know, Facebook is a really great place
for that market,
for that
target
audience.
market. Yeah.
And one last thing on social media I'd say is always be a positive light on there. Like, don't, you know, there's so much negativity and there's a lot of people using content, critiquing it, you know, and making fun of other people and all that. And it's like rage bait and it's controversial and it draws in attention. It happens to me, it happens to a lot of fitness people, but just constantly be a positive person. Don't engage in it. Don't get drawn into that because it's toxic, and when you get the engagement, you get addicted to that, and you think that's the only way I can do it is by keep being mean, keep digging out other trainers and other coaches. Like, just be positive and be nice, and I just think you'll win eventually, even though you might not have the most amazing views. Again, it's not about quality. It's not about quantity of followers anymore. It's about quality and engagement and connection in it. And people, like, they might jump and see a reel, but if they're not connected to me, they're not going to like even follow or commit to buy. No, it's just a random thing in it. But yeah, I think that's really important to like never get drawn into the negativity and the toxic like environment it's become.
Just had one last question. I know we're just a minute over, but I just have one last question. Well, just to finalise. I know you've spoken about your proudest moment. That was, well, it seems to be your proudest moment around during the pandemic and the nation's PE teacher, as you've been called. Would you say that's your proudest moment? Would you agree?
Yeah, like
the proudest kind of.
Yeah, like my most proudest achievement in terms of the impact of what it's done, because it was so important. I didn't know at the time. It was only when it finished that I really acknowledged it. Like in the middle of it, I was just filming and just doing it, and just I didn't really stop to process it until the end. But then I felt like this amazing wave of gratitude that was like amazing, and I'll never get that again. But it was a wonderful time. Yeah.
We would like to know though, because we had a panel discussion this morning, which is with our alumni of our program called Get Ready for Business Growth, and they're scale-up businesses, and they were talking about what they wish they knew, that kind of hindsight. What would you say that you wish you knew before you started? Both of you, just.
Can you go first while I think about that? I'm trying to think what I wish I knew.
Okay, it's not an easy one, but there must be some mistakes maybe you've made or things that you just do differently.
I suppose. Okay, have you got yours yet?
Yeah, I'm still thinking.
I think it's this thing of what I've come to learn about social media. Is like you can do so much good, but if you say one thing wrong or it's taken out of context or people jump on it, they can turn against you like that and forget all the kind things you've done. You know, whether it's like a comment about ADHD or it's something about the documentary I did about ultra-processed food or it's about, you know, calorie count or whatever. It's like, you know, whatever people, it can just be like really positive to suddenly really mean and negative, but you have to accept that, you know, that might happen and you don't let that deter you from who you are and detract from what you're trying to achieve. Because I know, I think it's about purpose over popularity, you know, and I know my purpose is to help people eat well and move and live a better life. So you're going to expect some negative comments. You can't make everyone happy. That's what I'm trying to say, is that if you're going to put yourself out there, it's already daunting enough, isn't it, to share videos of yourself and then for them to say, oh, you're too old for this, or why are you sharing that, or you're wrong, it's like, just accept that's going to happen. I think I didn't know that. I just thought I was always going to be universally loved, and I'm not universally loved. And it's like, it's okay to accept it. No, there's certain pockets of the world where they're just like, you know, they're mean. And I'm just like, look, and I just say, and do you know what I always do? I think, I know why they're saying that, because they're struggling with their business or their self-confidence or their life. And it's like, I've succeeded, and it's like, it's easy, isn't it? Like, actually, I remember it was really hard being a personal trainer. So I don't put hate and anger back towards them. I kind of have compassion for those people that are saying that stuff, because they really just want to be successful, but they don't. Sometimes they find it hard at seeing other people do well, and so that's what it is.
It reflects onto them or what they have achieved.
That's what I've learned. But again, there's a lot of positive people and there's a lot of kind people. Not everyone feels like that, and it's part of life, and it with social media. You learned anything, Nikki?
I was thinking, and I was listening to you, and I forgot. No, I think to try and sort of give a different, like, I mean, I agree with all of that, and I think first of all, there's so many challenges. Every year, every week, every month, it's something different. I think for me, like, I've struggled with burnout over the last 2 or 3 years several times, and learning to protect my energy, like, it's still something that I sort of got right at the end. I thought I got through this without getting emotional, but it's what am I trying to say? Like, I wish I had known to protect my energy more, like, and I'm much better at it now. And I mean, recently I was we were like, oh, we got some time during the kids' half term, should have a holiday. And I was like, oh no, do you know what? I feel pretty good. Like, I don't really feel like I need a break. And that for me is like the problem. Like, I've waited until I'm waited until I've already at that point of exhausted, you know, mentally being just tired. And, you know, running a business is really, you're dealing with a lot of, especially with people. I find, you know, the team, building the team, and I'm really proud of I was going to say around Peter with Joe, I'm proud of, but I'm really proud of our company culture. We work a 4-day week. You know, we really try and, like, put people first. But, like, when you're working with people, it's emotional. And it's, you know, I find that emotionally draining. So I suppose what I would say is I wish I'd known what I know now, which is, like, protecting your own energy is really important, and whatever that means, it means different things for different people. But because burnout, if you had asked me 3 or 4 years ago, I probably would have gone, burnout, like, what, I can work, you know, I probably was a denier. But, like, for anybody that thinks burnout isn't real, I promise you it is, and it can happen to anyone. Like, but you can also avoid it. Can you describe
it in, like, a minute to explain? Because someone might not know, and you feel like you're immune to it. But what does it feel like to feel and experience burnout?
So I've learned, like, through, you know, and I've again through just going through it 2 or 3 times now. But, like, for me, it's almost like becoming very disconnected, like, from people, and almost becoming like, it's not. Yeah, I think, and also I'm mindful that it affects people in different ways. But it's becoming sort of very, emotionally detached, not really caring about stuff. It wasn't for me. If you had said to me, like, what's burnout, I would have imagined it was not, you know, very sort of different to how I experience it. But it takes, once you get to that point, for me, like, it takes a while to undo it. It's not a weekend away or a whole week's holiday isn't enough. It's because it's months and months of unmanaged stress without rest, and you can't undo it in a week. So, you know, learning to sort of have those breaks in between is really, and for me, it's like on a Friday, we're a 4-day week, but I was still working Fridays. And I implemented this thing that I wanted everyone else to benefit from, but I wasn't doing it myself.
Yeah.
So now on a Friday, like I'm better now, but I go, no, I don't work Fridays. And like, it means, for me, like my dream is to go to the cinema and just switch off for 2 hours. But you can manage it, and I don't want to tell people what to look out for, because I think everyone has different manifestations of burnout.
Yeah. I think, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
I've just realised something. Every Friday, my diary's full. Why ain't I getting Friday off? Every Friday.
Do you have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off?
Yeah, maybe.
There you go. It's been great speaking to you guys. You know, we are opening for questions. I must also remind you, if you can, just because of time, complete your feedback forms while we're doing the questions. That would be great. And then we will have the prize giveaway straight away.
I've signed some cookbooks for you.
Oh, we have made some questions. Oh, yeah. And Joe will sign. Oh, you signed them already, but
Yeah,
you'll put them.
yeah. Write a little message to wish you luck in your business.
There you go. And then we do some questions maybe from online as well. So I know we went a little bit over, but I feel that the last questions was really important one as well from you both. So thank you. So
Thank you.
yeah.
I can hear you.
The sound coming.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you both. That was beautiful. It was very powerful. It was very, very profound. It was very heartwarming. Thank you for being your authentic selves. Really beautiful. Really, really powerful. Let's start off with something that's going on online, because we've got people who are joining us online as well. So we've got a question here which picks up on the last things you were talking about here. We've got Hannah Clark, and Hannah says, how did you find the motivation and stop the overthinking to keep going in the days where there are so few people showing up for the workouts? And this might be relevant for many people here in the early days. Nobody's engaged, nobody's buying your service, whatever it is. How did you stay motivated in those early days?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I know I get that question a lot. People say on all sorts of businesses, you feel like it's just never going to work, it's never going to happen. And I remember sitting on the floor of my dad's flat, and he said to me, oh, how's it gone today? No one had turned up, and I cried, saying, I don't think I'm ever going to pay you back the money. And he said, you know, son, like, he's like, look, I just want you to be happy. And I don't know, just this sense of like, I didn't ever let myself believe it wasn't going to work. Do you know what I mean? I just thought, if I don't do this, I'm going to have to work in a gym and work loads of hours and get no holiday. And do you know what I mean? I just had this sense of, I wanted stability and I wanted financial independence, I suppose, but I just wanted to like be my own boss and have that empowerment of like, I can work on a weekend, or I can have a weekend off, or I can have
Fridays off.
Yeah, and have Fridays or whatever. So I just think, what's the option? If you do give up, you give up and you're probably never going to succeed. But I always like this quote. I love this quote. You'll like this. If you're going to miss the bus, miss it running.
Love it. I love it.
If you're going to miss the bus, miss it running.
Right,
You've got to try it. You've got to try, or you're never going to catch it.
Wonderful. Okay, we've got questions here. I think your hand up went up the first that I saw.
Sorry, Rashid, could I just ask, because of time, make the questions very short. Just say your name, make the questions very short and to the point, and we'll try to get through as much as we can.
Thank you so much. You've been fabulous.
Thank you.
I run a company called The Parents Companion, and something I really struggle with is people keep telling me I need to niche. And
leash?
Niche, like niche.
Oh, niche, okay.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you go to schools, but you also go to old people's homes. I deal with parents, and I feel like it's really important that all age stages are included. What would be your advice about people saying to niche? Or do you think, because you obviously haven't, although you've got the health area, you haven't really niched as such.
Yeah,
do you think that's...
Well, I've always been like, I want everyone to be moving. So I want toddlers to move with my Hey Dougie workouts and my Activate animation. I want, you know, people in wheelchairs and disabilities moving. I want grandparents. I want women going through the menopause. I just scattergun and hope someone finds it and enjoys it. I've never been a niche. But what you're talking about is it parenting support for?
Yeah, so it's coaching. Yeah.
Yeah.
To do with
Well, you know, there's parents that are parents to kids of all different ages. So, I mean, the niche is the parent, isn't it?
That's it.
Go really.
Yeah, but nobody seems to get that apart from you.
You don't need to. Like, you know, toddlers are one thing, but the second they become, when they're in school and there's all these other like emotions, I think parenting, we're constantly learning as parents. So I don't think you need to specifically pick a certain age group of the child. The parent's always the parent, isn't it?
That's what I think.
I think you're doing fine. If things are going well, carry on.
Do you think I should persist?
Yeah, unless you really feel like you want to focus on a certain demographic. But, you know, I think with what you're doing, parenting is one of those things, it's such an emotional thing. You've just got to be supporting and being kind, then I don't care. It doesn't matter what age the child is.
Yeah.
Because your parenting advice gives that child a really wonderful life. So
Yeah, that's
I'll think about the kids, think about the kids and the parents. Yeah, I don't think you need to choose a certain age group.
Thank you. It's obviously been successful for you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, thank you.
And also being in your field as a coach for 20 years, you keep doing that. It will work. Trust it. Should we take one from the top there, Jordan?
Hi, Joe. I would be really interested in hearing how you build your community.
Oh, okay. So
what's the best advice, top 3 take?
So I think giving out lots of really useful free advice. So for me, it was free recipes, quick 15-second videos, free workouts on YouTube, real practical stuff. So I'm not a comedian, I'm not entertaining. I just think it's about utility, isn't it? It's valuable content, like really useful stuff. So, that was it with the food and fitness, and I've just always focused on those 2 things. I haven't really been distracted by things. But I think, putting out a piece of content's one thing, that's level 1. Reading the comments is phase 2. Replying to comments, sending DMs. There's so many levels to social media that in order to sort of populate and sharpen people's explore page or on their story feed, you've got to be engaging with them. So don't just think that putting the video up is enough. You've really got to deepen the level of engagement by truly having a 2-way conversation with them. I think that's really important.
So can I just add one thing as well? Because it's very easy to just talk about social media and Instagram and Facebook. Some of our most important community things are real-life events, right? And that can be, a massive workout with 1,000 people, but also we've held workout events with our app users with 20 people. So, community can also mean hosting a breakfast or having a physical... I think people are so quick to think about social media and scale, and actually having an event with 10, 15 people in real life is, super powerful as well.
Yeah, I do 5K runs where I just say, I'm going to be at this park, 9 a.m. Saturday, and sometimes 50 people turn up, sometimes 1,000, but it's free, it's real, do you know what I mean? So yeah, you can build your community offline before trying to think about it being purely digital.
Wonderful. Let's get a couple more.
Aria, is it Aria? We'll make sure you get a question, yeah? Aria's an author, she's 8 years old and she's written books. How amazing is that?
Wow.
Hello.
You asking a question. Congrats on that. Well done to Mum too.
We spoke briefly before, and thank you very much for being so approachable. What my story is, I lost 50 kilograms, about 8 stones in the last year alone, and it changed everything about myself, my identity, the way I show up in the world, and I want to help other people to do the same. And I completely agree with you when you say that exercise and eating healthy makes you happy, and definitely works for me. But what I'm struggling at the moment is visibility. Everything seems so overdone online, and I'm struggling finding my own voice and getting a bit more reach outside. So if you had to start today, no audience, no contacts, how would you start?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Firstly, congratulations on your transformation. That's amazing. 8 stone, lemon hell. Yeah, look, I can't pretend it's easier today than it ever has been. It's harder than it ever has been. But people are cutting through, and I think it's like that thing of having lots of different platforms, and not being disheartened if you post a reel that does crap. I've got this feeling of I used to get 1 million views per reel. Now I'm getting 250,000. So mentally I'm having to get used to that. I'm speaking to less people, but I still don't think about it too much, because if I did, I'd probably lose all motivation. I still think about that. Just think about one person a day is enough. You know what I mean? One person seeing your content a day and going and doing a workout or going to cook a recipe, that's enough. If you think like that, you don't have to be chasing the scale and obsessing over follower count, because I just don't think follower count is the most important metric anymore. I think it's shares and it's comments, because that's people are sharing because it's amazing, or sharing it because it's inspiring, or they comment on it because they think it's amazing. And you're going to also have really negative comments, and sometimes that's going to affect your confidence. But just keep reading the positive ones, drown out the negative ones, and focus on the positive, and just don't be disheartened, because you might not reach millions of people, but what if you reach 1,000 people a year? Is that not enough? You could change 1,000 people's lives a year. That's amazing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That's important to remember. Yeah.
I think, Ari, you were the first people here outside, weren't you? Am I right? Yeah. Do you want to start off with your question?
My question is, you have 13 books and I have 2. One is called One Run for Fun, and how would you recommend telling people at the start?
To get people to see your books and stuff like that, yeah. Well, so your mum messaged me on Instagram and said, oh, my daughter's written some books, can I send them to your office? And I don't go to the office very often, because I'm not the CEO, I get away with that. He's there every day. And I went there and literally got those books last week, and I went to my kids and I gave Run for Fun to one and The Moon That's Got to Go to Bed to my other kids. So I just haven't personally read them, but my kids have read your books and they loved them. And I actually said, look, when I gave them, I said, look, an 8-year-old girl wrote these books. It says authored by an 8-year-old girl, and I thought it was amazing. So already, like, you're already in my house, like, you've got the conversation going, because not many kids write books. And I love the illustration. Did someone help you illustrate the books? Someone drew the pictures, yeah?
Yes.
I think, well, firstly, start with your school friends. Tell all your friends that you've written a book. Have you told your friends you've written a book?
They know, because once it was World Book Day at school, and the person which was going to speak in front of the whole school, they couldn't come, and then I was the replacement. So I spoke in front of the whole school.
That's amazing. I've got an idea.
Wow.
You go on a little schools tour, like in your neighbour. Say, where do you live?
Blackheath.
Blackheath. So maybe reach out to like 5 schools in the area and say, and I'm sure your school, that you do, because it's amazing, they should encourage this. Say, look, I want to visit other schools and share my story, and tell them about how you wrote the book, like why you wrote it, and that could be an amazing little start of your little tour. And then once you've done that, you can go, right, I'm going to do another borough, another county, and you can just spread the book like that. That's like proper grassroots, isn't it? That'll be amazing. And then they'll tell their friends and take some copies for them to take and stuff. Well, good luck. I can't wait to read it. I'll message your mum when I've read it, yeah? Make sure you message me, because I'll reply and I'll tell you what I think of the stories.
Thank you.
Wonderful. We've got another one from online. This is quite a specific question. It'll be interesting, Joe or Nikki, if you've got a take on this. So Tam asks, what's the best advertising strategies for a home baker to get customers? He's only doing collection and home local delivery, currently only using Instagram to advertise the menu. So it's quite specific, but do you have any thoughts for him?
I mean, I'm actually following some really funny home bakers. Like, one of them, he cracks me up. He's in the kitchen, he's making these massive Biscoff cakes, and it's something about his character. He's really funny. So I think you can capture them with humour, you can capture them with like beautiful imagery. It depends what your style of baking is, but I think it's important to show your face. Don't just be a faceless brand and just show a cake, because people sometimes like to see who's made the cake. You know, why do they love baking? It's like that storytelling thing's really important, isn't it? Our friend of ours launched a business called Please Cakes, and he's done a book, he's got products, but he's the one doing the TikTok shop, he's the one doing the videos. I think it's really important. People don't just buy cookies, they like buying the story behind the cookie, because you can get a cookie anywhere, do you know what I mean? So I think storytelling is important, and being the face of it would help, I think, in that nowadays.
We will...
So many great...
Okay, we're going to have just one last question, whoever Rashid runs to, and then we're going to open up for the prize draw.
Thank you. Hi, can I just say a really amazing talk that you guys are giving, like just really loving what I'm hearing, and
Thank
it's
you.
just really powerful. I was just wanting to know, like, because you guys you're doing the body coach thing, the health thing, do you have any sort of like interest in collaborating with someone in a slightly different profession, like a life coach or hypnotherapist or anything like that? Just what I do, but like, would you be like open to doing a collaboration with someone who also works in the wellness field but doesn't do what you do, but like there's a compatibility there?
Yeah, we've done a couple of collabs, haven't we, like along the way with like Dr. Julie and Matthew Walker and stuff. Like when there's a subject that I don't know much about and I'm curious about, like the sleep thing, I read the book and then I said, oh, let's get him on the podcast, and we had a conversation. Then that podcast can become a newsletter, it can become a blog, it can become a bit of content. So yeah, I've done things. Is it hypnotherapy you do?
I do, yeah. I do life coaching and I do hypnotherapy, so I incorporate that in my coaching. And I'm always looking for either clients or people to collaborate with in the wellness field. But it's like obviously some whether it's acupuncturists or people who do into fitness or sound bathing, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, physiotherapists. Yeah, I mean, look, I've never been someone massive on like Instagram and YouTube collabs and getting together. I'm in my own little bubble, really. I don't even feel like I'm a part of the fitness community as such, you know what I mean? But I know it's a good way to grow. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you can do an Instagram or TikTok live or a YouTube live or, live content series with someone who's got a bigger following, it's definitely going to have a waterfall effect. But what I'll say is, anytime I've ever done a collab in the past, it was always like, they would get way more followers, and I never kind of had the same effects on my channels and stuff. But yeah, like, I'm up for doing things, but I've never ever experienced hypnotherapy in my whole life, so I wouldn't even know how to start. And I suppose it's like, how can I use that with my audience? Is it useful information for them?
Yeah, probably just making them feel more confident about body confidence, and going out there. Some people don't feel confident going to gyms. They don't feel confident about their bodies in certain spaces, or they try to hide their bodies, or with clothing or something like that. So it's about, I would be coming from, obviously, that hypnotherapy in terms of like, working with your inner cheerleader, and not silencing your inner critic, but reframing what your inner critic says. So it's actually motivational, and so not bashing yourself, but like motivating yourself and saying you're almost there, rather than you're going nowhere, or you're this and that, and calling yourself names and stuff, which people do. We do have that inner critic, and we do have a lot of beating ourselves up over the smallest things. So it's about body positivity, but mindset and all that sort of stuff. So definitely
what's your name in your company, so everybody here could hear that?
Hi everyone, I'm Mel Fessahay. I'm a parent success coach. I incorporate NLP and hypnotherapy into coaching with people who struggle with burnout, overwhelm, and I also offer inner focus workshops for offering something very different to the corporate workspace. I don't do all that boost productivity. I do that sort of like Zen hypnotherapy, kind of like for your workspace. So let me know if you need any of that.
There you go. When it comes to networking, reach out to her. Give a round of applause. Thank you. Well done for asking that.
And just to add to that, just before I know you've going to begin to wrap up, please, today, because it is Startup Day, and we're going to be soon networking and so on, don't forget to network with each other. At the end, what often happens, understandably, will be a rush for people to speak to Joe and Nikki. I understand that. But equally, remember, the power of you networking with each other can be really, really profound. And we've heard from incredible people here today, so make sure you take advantage of that, chatting to each other afterward. I know we're beginning to run out of time.
Yeah,
so
let's go and wrap that up. Thank you for that, Rashid. Very, very good point.
Are we going to pick some winners out?
We're going to get the winners, so yeah.
Help you both. Let me help you pick the winners. How are you picking winners out?
What we're going to do, so we are going to have Joe and Nikki to pull out a name from the box. Is it just the one box,
yeah.
Jordan?
So the prize is 4 copies, well, 1 copy each, of my Build in 15. And I've wrote a little note that says, good luck with your business, lots of love, Joe Wicks.
Awesome.
Okay. I'll put it back in, make it fair.
And we will ask, if you would like to, you don't have to, so please just say, if you'd rather prefer not to. But if you would like to, then we invite you to come up on stage and then we'll take a picture with Joe and Nikki.
Winner number 1 is Maria Natuzzi. Maria Natuzzi?
Come on down. Congrats, Maria.
All right, number 2. Sorry if I say your last name wrong. Sam Sarko. Sam Sacco.
Oh, he won a prize there. Or she.
Oh, double winner.
Would you want to come down? You prefer to...
You get a photo together? Congratulations. Nice to meet you.
I'll give her Sam.
Oh, I think she's coming down. Well done. Keep clapping. Give her a round of applause.
Thank you. Another one? Have we got another one?
Here she comes.
You, Sam? Yeah. Come on, Sam. Come get it.
Yeah, please be careful on there. Perfect.
Well done.
Congrats. Give her a round of applause. Encourage her.
Well done. Thank you. So nice to meet you. So I'll pick another one? Okay, I'll pick another one. Okay, I'm going to go to the bottom. Okay, who's it going to be? It's exciting. The next one is... Oh, it's blank.
No.
There's no name on it. Yeah, there's no name on it, look.
Who did that? You missed an opportunity.
I've got one.
Okay.
Karen Williams.
Karen?
Yeah,
Congrats, Karen.
This is Karen. I'll read that one out.
No, I want to read that. It's fun.
Karen. There you go, Karen.
We get a photo, Cam. Okay. And the last person to win one. Oh, don't. You're joking.
Another one?
That's another dud.
Just have a blank.
Who's doing this?
Who's got invisible ink?
Don't stitch me up. Oh, here we go. Frank Vitetta. Frank, yes, Frank.
Congrats.
Frank the Tank. Listen. We get a photo. Frank their tank.
Well, congratulations.
Well, nice to meet you.
You too. Yeah, that's the one.
That light's bright, isn't it? Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Frank. Well done, mate. Thank you. Where are you from? Italy. Ah, brother of mine. My grandma's Italian. Nice, friend. Thank you, mate.
Wonderful. So congratulations to all of those prize winners. Hopefully, if you didn't get the book, didn't win the prize, you can still get the book off all the platforms, I'm sure, or from your website.
I'm not going to sell books.
I know, but if you want to, you can still do that. But it's been a great time that we've had with Joe and Nikki. Please give them a round of applause of thanks. Thank you.
And our host, Jacqueline Brown. Can we give her a round of applause?
Yeah, Jacqueline.
Yeah. And good luck, Jacqueline, with tonight. We hope you win.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Well done.
Awesome. I'm going to take you guys to the green room. But in the meantime, I'd like to invite back Isabel Oswell, our director, to close. So hold on, don't go yet. And just a quick reminder about the toolkit again, to download that. And to sign up for our newsletter. Isabel, please come back to the stage. And to welcome Isabel.
Well done, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Yeah, big one.
Thank you.
Oh gosh, I'm standing between you, drinks and canapes, which is a dangerous place to be. But thank you so much, to Joe and to Nikki for that really, really honest and open and wonderful talk. Because I picked two things was, Joe said, I never set out to start a business, I just set out to start a community. And so look what he's done, just building community. And his focus has all the way through been on impact and never on profit. So I think that's a big lesson for us all. I was very pleased that he didn't ask us all to do a high-intensity workout session, but no doubt he will after this. So when right at the beginning, so I can't remember who it was, probably Jacqueline said it, so that's right, who's used the Business and IP Centre? And it was a very, very poor show of hands, I have to say. So I think only about 20% of you. Please do come back and use us. So we have, as I say, a startup program, Kickstart Your Business. We have a step-up program, series of masterclasses. We have a scale-up program, Get Ready for Business Growth. So we have something for everyone. And we also run one-on-ones and mentoring, and we have loads of networking events. So please do come back and use us and give yourself a supercharged chance of success. So thank you very much, everybody. It's really lovely to see you all. And if you're really lucky, I think Joe and Nikki might be joining us outside. So look forward to seeing you then.